people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. An interesting bit of information I came across. The United Kingdom's Ramla Ali will be returning to action February 14th on what is not an MVP show, in spite of being picked up by the promotion not that long ago and having already made her MVP debut. Getting off to a rocky start opposite the ring Brazil's own Lila Furtado that gave Ramla all she could handle, and to a lot of people should have got the decision and should have won the fight. Sporting a professional record of 10 wins with 2 losses and no draws, 2 knockouts, having been knocked out once in 12 professional bouts. Last in action in July of last year opposite the ring Lila Furtado, who I just mentioned, considering that Ramla made her debut all the way back there in the summer.
MVP.
So there was plenty of time to get her back out on one of those other MVP shows that happened later in the year. Why didn't they? Well, I heard a rumor that it's not been easy to get Ramla Ali to accept what options she's being given. Risks versus rewards, essentially. This opponent that yields these risks for this money. That's what I was told. In the last 2 years, Ramla has only boxed 2 times. In 2024, she had her lone fight with Yemi Mercado, which she lost. That turned out to be her final fight under the Matchroom banner. And her only fight that entire calendar year. Fast forward a year, she debuts under the MVP banner, and that turns out to be the only fight she has that entire calendar year. So she wants to get out there a bit sooner, even if it means boxing off platform and under a different banner. This fight that she's about to have against an opponent that has yet to be announced will be fought under the BATL banner.
Who the fuck is that?
The fight itself is not yet registered on BoxRec, though based on what we know it's not going to be somebody high profile. We know it's not going to be anybody with a belt because Ellie Scottney and Mayeli Flores, the only 2 champions at Super Bantamweight, are supposed to be fighting each other. So it's not going to be one of them. Those are the only 2 fighters holding titles at 122. At 126, I hardly think it's going to be either Amanda Serrano or Tiara Brown. I don't think it's going to be Nina Menka, who's still out recovering from back surgery. As stated, whoever it is that Ramla is about to fight, anywhere in between 122 and 126, I don't get the sense it'll be someone high profile. This gives me the impression of a quick run out, little stay busy fight, in a fight that Ramla should win. So does this mean that Ramla's time at MVP has already ended after just 1 fight? Not necessarily. She could still be attached to that promotion with the wiggle room to box off platform under other banners if the opportunity presents itself. That if somebody wants to use her, MVP isn't going to stop them. Like what we're seeing with Dina Toisland, who's supposed to be boxing in a few weeks off platform under a different banner, with the understanding that MVP will make the fight between her and Shernika Johnson later in the year. So Ramla could still be connected to MVP. Maybe she just doesn't want to wait for them to sort her out.
Could be that.
She's got the chance to box on somebody else's show, so she's going to do that in the mean-in-between time. And as stated, I heard a rumor that it hasn't been easy for MVP to get Ramla to agree to a fight. With what options they're providing her, she's being a picky eater. That's what I was told. After having been stopped by Julissa Guzman and decisioned by Yemi Mercado, she's treading carefully, measuring her approach, and bear in mind that even though she doesn't look it, Ramla's 36 years old. She doesn't have all the time in the world to play with her food.
Right, but she doesn't win a title from anybody at 122 or 126, so what the fuck is she gonna do?
If I had to guess, I'd guess that she's waiting for the winner of Scottney versus Flores to move up in weight, drop all the titles they hold at 122 so that she can then pick one up. That's her best bet to win a belt anywhere at or around these weights.
If the belt is vacant, if she ain't gotta go through nobody to get it.
It's gotta be what she's doing. biding her time, waiting in the wings for the right opportunity to pick up an alphabet title, because as far as challenging a champion, she wouldn't win. And so she is set to return to action next month on the 14th against an opponent that has yet to be announced.
We'll talk more about it as the fight date approaches.
Men's junior middleweight news. I'm sure most of you have heard by now that Vergil Ortiz has filed suit to terminate promotional agreement with Goldenboy. Vergil Ortiz Jr. has embraced a major fight outside the ring in an attempt to land the biggest bout of his career inside of it. The ring has learned a lawsuit was filed on Ortiz's behalf Thursday in a Nevada court that requests the termination of his promotional contract with Oscar De La Hoya's company, Goldenboy Promotions, which has represented Ortiz throughout a pro career that began in July of 2016, extended their contract for 3 years in May of 2024. Gregory M. Smith, Ortiz's attorney, cited declaratory relief, breach of contract, and interference with prospective economic advantage as grounds for ending that agreement. In a lawsuit filed with a U.S. District Court in Nevada, Ortiz's hope is that separating himself from Goldenboy will help him secure the high-profile fight he wants next, a showdown with junior middleweight rival Jaron Ennis. Rick Mirrigan, Ortiz's manager, and De La Hoya have been at odds on social media recently regarding how negotiations for a fight versus Ennis should have been handled. De La Hoya threatened legal action against Mirrigan for inviting other promoters to work with Ortiz, one of boxing's most entertaining knockout artists. Among the claims made in Ortiz's 32-page lawsuit, a copy of which was obtained by The Ring, is that De La Hoya's strained relationships with competing promoters and the sport's most prominent power broker, Turki El Sheikh, have prevented Ortiz from finalizing a deal to finally fight Ennis. De La Hoya is called a controversial and divisive figure in boxing in the lawsuit, which also refers to the retired six-weight world champion's history of substance abuse. We all know that Oscar likes to hit the slopes, and you wonder if it's impeding his judgment as Ortiz's promoter. Ennis is promoted by Matchroom Boxing's Eddie Hearn, who has spoken countless times of a verbal agreement made with DAZN executives and De La Hoya last summer to make Ortiz versus Ennis after both boxers took interim fights they easily won by knockout. El Sheikh is chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority and owner of The Ring. The lawsuit also states that the end of Goldenboy's exclusive content partnership with DAZN affords Ortiz the right to void his promotional contract. Goldenboy acknowledged that its DAZN deal ended December 31st. Its contention to Ortiz's handlers, according to the lawsuit, is that the company is negotiating another deal with DAZN to provide content in 2026 and 2027, and thus retains its promotional rights to Ortiz for the duration of their aforementioned 3-year contract. The lawsuit notes, too, that DAZN executives made it clear to Ortiz's team that it would not accept any opponent next for Ortiz other than Ennis. The bout between Ortiz, 27, and Ennis, 28, is commonly considered one of the fights boxing fans most want to watch this year. Offering such significant matchups to its subscribers is considered vital to DAZN's business because the streaming service launched an ultimate plan last fall that costs $44.99 monthly in the United States and $24.99 in the United Kingdom, and is designed to include fights that are considered worthy of the pay-per-view platform. Ortiz and Ennis both hold interim junior middleweight championships. Ortiz of Grand Prairie, Texas, is ranked number 1 among the ring's contenders for a vacant junior middleweight crown, 5 spots higher than Philadelphia's Ennis. Ennis, however, is a former Ring Magazine, IBF, and WBA welterweight champion, who hasn't come remotely close to losing since he made his pro debut in April of 2016, the same year as Ortiz. Ortiz's lawsuit is the latest on a lengthy list of Goldenboy's legal entanglements with its top fighters. Smith previously represented Canelo Alvarez when boxing's biggest star got out of his contract with De La Hoya's company and DAZN late in 2020 because it didn't deliver on its initial commitment of $365 million over 11 fights. And now for a few interesting perspectives from veteran boxing scribe Dan Raphael reacting to all of this. Oscar's nonsensical videos calling out Eddie to negotiate with him were misdirection that made no sense. They and DAZN already had their end done. There was nothing to negotiate with Eddie. He had to close with Ortiz. That was the only issue. Oscar had tons of time to get it done and didn't. If Vergil Ortiz's contract termination with Goldenboy stands up, nothing would prevent him from dealing directly with Matchroom and DAZN or another promoter to still make the Ennis fight if that is the fight he really wants.
So what this basically means is that in Oscar De La Hoya's sandbagging it, he jeopardized not only his relationship with DAZN as his broadcaster, but his relationship with Vergil as his fighter, since that seems to be the root of the problem. You didn't make the fight, you pissed them off, and now they don't want to deal with you anymore.
Nobody does, because you're a fucking idiot.
Why do you think the same thing keeps happening? Canelo Alvarez left you, Senicia Estrada left you, Jaime Munguia left you, Ryan Garcia wants to, and now so does Vergil.
I don't understand. If you know that your broadcast partner wants this fight,
That it's important to them.
and you know that you're out of contract right now, and you need to sweeten the deal so that they give you another one, why not just make the fucking fight? What's more important to you, Vergil Ortiz's O or having a home for your fights?
Having a budget to do them.
The whole time Oscar's throwing himself around his crummy little apartment, shooting his videos, talking shit about everybody else, pointing out what are supposed to be everybody else's drawbacks. Oscar, you have your own problems.
Your own house needs tending to that you don't need to worry that much about anyone else's.
Gregory Smith provided background for the lawsuit about De La Hoya, saying, although Mr. De La Hoya had a legendary boxing career, he has a history of substance abuse and rocky relationships with other boxing promoters. In recent years, he has unprofessionally attacked his peers and other boxing luminaries on social media platforms, including weekly Instagram video rants in which he often concludes by telling various boxers and promoters to go fuck themselves. To protect Ortiz from the ramifications of Mr. De La Hoya's behavior and other boxing industry forces and factions, the PRA contained a provision requiring Goldenboy Promotions to work in good faith with other promoters as necessary to negotiate with Ortiz's preferred opponents, and also allowing Ortiz's representatives to directly negotiate with other promoters. The same clause prevented Goldenboy from engaging in negotiations behind Ortiz's back, requiring Goldenboy to fully disclose the terms of any written offer and requiring Ortiz to be a signatory to any agreement related to him fighting. De La Hoya did not immediately respond to messages left for him by Boxing Scene regarding the lawsuit. Smith also pointed to the legal language pertaining to the DAZN matter. In the event that promoter's distribution relationship with DAZN terminates for any reason, and promoter does not have an agreement in principle in place for an exclusive distribution relationship with an alternative broadcaster, then the boxer shall have the right to terminate this agreement. Smith said Goldenboy responded that the promoter provided information that drafts for a potential DAZN Goldenboy extension through 2027 have been exchanged. Smith attached a legal quote of precedent.
An agreement to agree at a future time is nothing.
Ortiz had hoped that Goldenboy would work with Ennis's promoter Eddie Hearn to strike a deal with Smith, further explaining in the lawsuit, it was the hope of Ortiz that the bout with Mr. Ennis, which was considered to be one of the best matchups in the sport, would attract the eye of Turki Al Sheikh. Al Sheikh, a boxing fan and the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority. At Mr. Al Sheikh's direction, Saudi Arabia has been a significant sponsor of boxing matches in the last few years, both in Riyadh and outside of KSA, such as the September 2025 bout between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford in Vegas. Instead of working in good faith with all boxing promoters to assure that boxer maximizes his exposure and revenue opportunities, Mr. De La Hoya publicly attacked Mr. Al Sheikh and Zuffa Boxing, Mr. Al Sheikh's new partnership with the leader of the UFC.
It's what it is. Oscar's behavior online and in public does not allow for a hospitable environment to do business with anybody.
In December of 2025, Mr. De La Hoya posted to his Instagram an expletive-filled rant insulting the project and all involved. Through this and other actions, Goldenboy actively undercut any opportunity to maximize Ortiz's potential earnings from Saudi-backed sponsorships. Smith alleges Goldenboy also violated its mandate of providing 3 options to Ortiz. In a December 2025 meeting between Goldenboy and Ortiz representatives, Goldenboy presented an offer for the bout with Mr. Ennis and insisted, despite the PRA requirement that Ortiz be offered at least 3 potential opponents for any bout, that if Ortiz did not agree to the fight, he would be benched and not presented with any other opportunities. Goldenboy also threatened that it would publicly blame Ortiz and his team for the fight with Mr. Ennis not happening if Ortiz did not agree to the sole offer presented, Smith wrote.
Although Goldenboy did not disclose it to Ortiz during the meeting, Ortiz later came to learn through public comments from Mr. Hearn that there had already been a meeting between Goldenboy, Matchroom, and DAZN that resulted in a written agreement related to terms for the Ortiz-Ennis fight. Goldenboy never presented this document to Ortiz, again breaching its commitments in the PRA. De La Hoya told Boxing Scene Monday he was moving on from talks for Ortiz versus Ennis, and Ortiz manager, Rick Mirigan, responded by telling Boxing Scene he was authorized to negotiate on Ortiz's behalf.
Mr. De La Hoya's public outbursts and attacks after the PRA was terminated were designed to improperly interfere with Ortiz's opportunities to work with other promoters by creating industry confusion as to Goldenboy's rights or the lack thereof, the lawsuit alleges. They were also the type of efforts to vilify and blame Ortiz and Mr. Mirigan that Goldenboy Promotions had threatened when Ortiz turned down the fight offer in December. Smith summarized his lawsuit by writing, Goldenboy Promotions' breaches have caused Ortiz to suffer millions of dollars of losses in fight purses and opportunities.
So the long and the short of it is that there may be nothing left to hold Vergil Ortiz to his existing Goldenboy Promotions contract, and due to Oscar De La Hoya's unprofessional behavior and the environment which he creates
an inhospitable environment to do business with everyone else in the industry, because he's always taking shots at them.
You won't be able to get anything done in an environment like this, so it's no wonder that sometimes Goldenboy Promotions' fighters seem like they're just going in circles,
aimlessly in no particular direction. If what comes out of this is that Vergil Ortiz migrates from Goldenboy to Matchroom, I'd hire a security detail if I were Eddie Hearn.
Oh yeah, because Oscar's gonna go streaking down the DAZN offices, shooting a potato gun while he does it, till he gets to yours. He feels that you took Canelo from him, you arguably took Edgar Berlanga from him, and if you end up taking Vergil from him, he's gonna fucking lose it! Stay tuned.